Well, Harley-Davidson finally did it. They proved that they will not go the way of the dodo bird. They are going to fight to retain their crown as the #1 motorcycle manufacturer in the United States. And this is a really big deal, right? A lot bigger deal than maybe what some people realize. And I've been talking about it for months now. And so we're going to look at this big change that Harley-Davidson has finally implemented, coming back down to reality. And I'm glad to see it. And of course, I'm going to tell you how this impacts the motor company positively and how they can build upon this momentum and not stop here, but continue to go with this trend. And of course, if you agree or disagree, let me know what you think down below. Let's go and jump right in. So people that have been around Harley-Davidson for a long time remember that yes, Harleys have always been pricey, but they've always kind of had like a sub $10,000 motorcycle, at least when they had the regular Sportsters out there. And then of course the Street Series, which weren't incredibly popular, but you still had that option. Point is, they always had an entry-level motorcycle that you didn't have to spend $30,000 on. Well, now back to reality, we have the 2025 Nightster. So now the Nightster is $9,999, under 10,000 bucks. And of course, them being made in Thailand this year was part of that. They already had dropped the price, but now we're down, I don't know, 2,500, maybe even $3,000 from what they were just a year ago. That's a significant drop. Now, that's exactly what I was talking about. If they're going to build some bikes in Thailand, those savings need to be passed on to the American market. So this was the move maybe that they had planned the whole time. It was kind of like a tariff proofing plan for their company, but also a way to finally give people an option where you can get a Harley-Davidson under 10 grand. Now, how big of a deal is this to the motor company cannot be understated. For instance, their biggest rival, which is Indian, of course, has the Indian Scout 60. Indian didn't abandon the Scout 60, and you can still buy those motorcycles for under 10 grand. And then the natural progression goes up from there. If you go with the regular Scout, and then the Super Scout, the Scout 101, and then of course you just kind of go up the chain of command. But the point is, somebody could walk into an Indian dealer, spend under 10 grand, and be able to get everything they want if they had a good experience. Maybe become an Indian customer for life. And that's what Harley has been missing now since, I don't know, freaking like 2020, 2021, somewhere in there. So if you don't know, I'm giving away a 2021 Street Glide right here on the channel. There's one link in the description of this video that will take you over to Headshot Nation, where you get 3 months of access to a community with like-minded motorcyclists. You can talk back and forth with them, make your own posts, watch our content, ad-free, early access, and exclusive content as well. It is a fantastic place, and that gets you the entry in to win the 2021 Street Glide. That's coming with a ton of extras. I've already done some videos on it if you want to check those out. But this bike is going to be tricked out for whoever wins. And then of course you support myself, my family, and fan of them, who is a small veteran-owned business. So we keep our giveaways and the time frame small, though. That way it gives you a real chance to win something freaking awesome. It's not going to be thousands and thousands and thousands of entries. So with that said, May 9th, 11:59 Pacific Standard Time, this thing will get cut off. So make sure you get your entries in before then. Click the link in the description. Sign up before May 9th. Good luck to every single one of you. Remember, you have bikes like the Honda Rebel 1100. How much is that bike? 9,500 bucks. So, Honda's not going to be getting rid of that motorcycle anytime soon, because that's one thing that those companies understand. And I think even Harley understands this. They have to now, of course, because they know, like, hey, we're losing a lot of people. If the cheapest Harley-Davidson you could buy is $13,000, $14,000, and I can literally save $4,000 by going down the road, because there's a lot of Indian dealers that are somewhere in the vicinity of Harley-Davidson, well, if they're not already tied to the brand, that loyalty doesn't exist yet. So if they know they can go up the road and save $4,000, right, then what's going to stop them from doing that? Especially with a pretty comparable motorcycle, right? The 975 Nightster gives you 90 horsepower and like 72 foot-pounds of torque, pretty much in line with your Scout Series and your Scout 60, which is going to be a little bit less, but still, it ain't $4,000 less. Building brand loyalty is so important. And I think one thing that Harley is missing over the past 5 years really is the fact that, a lot of younger people now are struggling, right? We just went through 4 years of hell and we're all looking for a rebound here. And so the biggest thing is, the economy, of course, but then people have student loans. And hey, student loans are very predatory, in my opinion, because at 18 years old, you don't understand that if you sign a $40,000 loan, it takes a long time to pay that back. You think, oh, $40,000, I'll be making $80,000 a year, not realizing that other things come along with that, of course, but whatever. The point is, a lot more kids now, or young adults now, have things that not everybody had back in the 70s and 80s. And so when things are more expensive, you already have more people that have to basically check out of motorcycles. It's just not feasible for them. And then the ones that you do have that are able to afford some kind of motorcycle are looking at $6, $7, $8, maybe $10,000 bikes. I think that a vast majority of them probably see a $10,000 bike. They're like, I really like American-made cruisers. They're like, okay, I want an Indian or a Harley. So that's an even smaller percentage of people. So now you've taken your smaller percentage of people that are looking at motorcycles. You shrunk that down to people that are under $10,000. And then you shrink it down again to the ones that are interested in Harley Davidson and or Indian. They're going to have to make a choice. And to me, the choice has been clear over the past few years. If you're trying to save some money and you want an American brand, Indian has kind of been leading the way. So now, where does Harley go from here? This is the change that I believe they've been needing to make. Amongst other things, this is one of the big ones. And I actually just recently talked about the fact that the Softails now, the cheapest bike is like 17 grand, right? You're talking about lowrider STs for $24,000. I walked into a dealership the other day, and I don't shop at this dealership, especially when it comes to motorcycles. I might buy a shirt or something, or even like this sign right here, you know what I mean? But when it comes to bikes, there ain't no way. But their MSRP was higher than what is actually listed on Harley's website. It's freaking ridiculous. And $28,000 lowrider ST, when just last year I could buy a full bagger road glide or street glide starting at 26. Absolutely ridiculous. These are the kind of cuts that, in my opinion, need to start happening in the motorcycle world. You have your specialty bikes, you have your CVOs, you have a slim market for those, but those people are in a position where they can buy them, right? Once you get down, in my opinion, to like your base baggers, remember just a few years ago we were looking at $23,000 base baggers, sub $20,000 heritage. Bikes like that, they need to come back down to reality. And if they can't cut down the price, at the very least, the predatory type loan payments through Harley Davidson Financial need to be adjusted big time. Again, you're looking at a lot of people that are going to be financing a motorcycle. And so to offer them terms of 12 and 14% and higher when local banks can give them something better, way better, is just an absolute joke. So in my opinion, if they want to keep the Harley Davidson financial part of their business, which is like the only part of it that's actually growing, if they want to continue to grow that, they should start offering some really banger deals, right? They start offering 1.99% financing in 60 months, 5%, whatever. Not breaking even 7%, and they're just running these specials, and they keep the prices of the bikes down a little bit lower. There's even simple things that they can do, which I know some dealers will actually do, is like, hey, if you buy a motorcycle, then you get a helmet and a jacket on us, right? Or you get a gift card to spend in the Harley Davidson shop, right? So you're continuing to kind of build each customer up, and this is what they're going to have to start doing. Basically, think of it as building from the bottom up, but they're not even close to the bottom, right? They already have people that are super loyal, but paying that loyalty back to the customers that have built the brand in order to get new ones in. This is a great move for Harley Davidson, and I'm glad to see it, man, because they had to do something, and this is a good first move. That's just my opinion, though. Let me know what you think down below. If you like what I do, consider subscribing. See you in the next one, and as always, hold it down.